Ladies and gentlemen, 1 week after the Grabby organized event, Warcraft 3 OnlyFans Invitational, some of the invited players that are still interested in Warcraft 3. For example, Mr. Dendi today played a short session on his stream after playing Dota, I presume, and he met Back2Warcraft Neo again. And let me tell you, this is El Clasico, basically. If you remember, I already covered their game, and Mr. Dendi, he was playing like a troll strategy. He was playing like a MK without expansion. He was trying to make mass footman and just surround Mr. Neo. And Mr. Neo, as a big fan of Happy, he had no mercy for mistakes of the opponent. He came with coils. He was playing nice strategy of fast Death Knight. With fast tech, basically, so we call this Ted Fins. In this game is going to be different, ladies and gentlemen, because in this game I saw the hero choices already from Mr. Dendi, and it's going to be a little bit more standard. So I'm very curious, is he able to beat Mr. Neo when he's basically not trolling, when he's playing for real? So he loves to play MK versus Undeads, and let me say, Saul, this is very of meta, right? But what I can tell you, MK first has been seen on high level. For example, Mr. Fortitude used to play the best human from China, and we have 5 gifted subs for Mr. Drop. Mr. Drop, thank you. Makura, for you, as we can see, ladies and gentlemen, the Warcraft 3 content is basically going really hard, and thank you for these 5 gifted subs. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm recording this replay review during the live stream because, yes, there is so much content in Warcraft 3 that it's kind of hard to cover it, especially off stream. Mr. Neo is scouting with the Acolyte. Thank you again for the support, sir, and thank you for all the follows. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, balls to stop the Acolyte, that's okay. And Mr. Dendi may be even expecting Neo coming for him, you know, with the Death Knight crossing the map like he did last game. Those good players, they just remember what their opponents like to do. We call these mind games in the Warcraft 3 universe. Thank you, Mr. Drop, again for the huge support today. And Mr. Dendi immediately lost one militia during the creep. So he's a little bit rusty. If you ask me, Dendi is like very gifted in video games, that's for sure, that goes without saying. But ladies and gentlemen, here he's making mistakes. He's feeling the pressure of the Godfather. Godfather, yes, of Warcraft 3, Mr. Neo. Back2Warcraft Neo, Mr. Janes Klarsk. It's his name, I presume, if I can say it right. And yes, he's proving that he's very experienced. Okay, the Bolt of Court can guarantee the last hit. But again, I don't see farm number 4. Yes, it's going to be 1 base MK versus Undead. This is not that great, ladies and gentlemen. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that we should go to the expansion play. So maybe Mr. Dendi can work about this. But of course, it's not easy to do it versus Death Knight. But what usually humans do, they creep 1 green camp with like 2-3 militia to accumulate more units. And when they see the Death Knight, they still go to the expansion with like 6 or 7 militia, and they make sure to bolt surround, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we are creeping. We are creeping 1 base. Mr. Neo, he's probably happy about this situation. He's like, okay, I did enough. I called some things. My opponent is not expanding, and 1 base versus 1 base favors Undead. Mr. Neo have seen so many Warcraft 3 games that he can feel it. His name is not a coincidence. He's like Neo from Matrix. He can see the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, what is happening now? So, if you play 1 base as Mr. Dendi, what you can do, definitely creeping level 3 and then buying Boots of Speed is an option that you can consider to make some impact. And he's going for the Blacksmith. Is going to be Rifle Caster unit composition, probably. But ladies and gentlemen, with the Rifle Caster, you need to be able to finish the game without like late game, right? So We'll see what the game plan is. With Para Rifle, of course, you can try to brute force, we will call it. So basically attack the Undead when Undead is like taking to tier 3 and maybe finish the game with your tier 2 units, but you need to do it quickly because if Undead goes full force into tier 3, one base versus one base is not that good for the human. And Undead base is quite good in like these defensive measures. Okay, Mr. Dendi is thinking about creeping this camp. It's not that easy to creep, but it's definitely doable. Of course, Neo can creepjack this. Neo is good at scouting because Happy is good at scouting, and we know Happy, the most popular Warcraft 3 player, the best Warcraft 3 players, but of course it's not that easy to scout on high level. Then he's spending his mana. He feels that this camp is hard to creep. He lost one footman, but he got the item, he got experience, and what is the most important, level 3 is here. So Dendi is going to heal now, and the question is, what is he going to do next? His tier 2 unlocks, and he's not a troll hero. This is a good hero with MK. With Blood Mage, you just give all of the mana to the Mountain King, and then you can just bolt, and let me tell you, the bolt ability is pretty strong. But yes, the time is running out for us. We need to accumulate, there is no rush yet. You need to accumulate 50 supply, around 50 supply, if you want to push the Undead like that. And of course, there is never too late for tier 2 expansion. Tier 3 expansion is maybe too late, but tier 2 expansion, I would try it. I would try it, because like if your opponent comes, you can like bolt his hero and force him back maybe. And maybe on high level, people say Saul is like build, order, lose to go tier 2 expansion. But we are having fun on a little bit lower MMR. Of course, it's not very low. It's still solid 1400. But still, like if you make a small mistake, the opponent is just not going to destroy you for it. Okay, Blood Mage is out. We need this Blood Mage quickly. We have to assist the MK because we need to have all of the mana. Of course, Blood Mage is like mana battery. You can charge your Blood Mage on the creeps, and you can of course transfer mana to your beloved MK. Speaking about mana, good item drop for MK, Potion of Mana, but again, we need to have some damage source other than just Bolt. We need to have our beautiful rifles, because yes, they hit hard. They hit hard. Blood Mage is joining us. And yes, we need supply. We need supply, Mr. Dendi. We need to produce our beautiful rifles casters. Yes, we need to spend our gold. He's playing Workshop. I hope not. Okay, he changed his mind. Actually, Workshop. Okay, the question is why. I would invest into Boots of Speed. He has Boots of Speed. That's nice. We saw the Death Knight. We actually want to fight on the neutral ground. That's for sure. Okay, we have a healing scroll. Okay, we are passing the clarities. There is a lot of mana. Give the mana from the Blood Mage as well. We don't want to have Blood Mage with full mana. So Mr. Dendi, he's getting the muscle memory up with this in this situation. And he's just looking. So the scouting is also a little bit off point. Like in Warcraft 3, we need this like movement, right? This fluid movement. Staying like in one spot for a longer time is not that good. And as we can see, Mr. Dent is like taking a walk here. Of course, it's not that easy to find your opponent, but yes, Mr. Dent is trying. Maybe this workshop will actually work, but if you are afraid of destroyers, we can think about playing gyrocopters, but in my opinion, it's not that important. By the way, this club animation aggro the other camp, that was interesting. Didn't know about that. So yes, I like that we are giving mana to our MK, and the scout confirms where Mr. Neo is, and look at this, he has Orb of Corruption already. Very clean macro by Mr. Neo. He got the footy. And yes, Undead is slowly building this supreme army. Mr. Dendi, you need to do something about that. Okay, we are playing Gyros. I don't like Gyros. I think we have enough anti-destroyer technology, right? I thought that he's going for like a mortar team to like siege the Undead base. But yes, I think with the rifles we should have enough anti-destroyer tech. And, we are not that afraid of destroyers because we don't need to protect wood elementals, we don't need to protect knights. And Creepjack from Mr. Neo, that was a nice sense. And Mr. Dendi is teleporting out. Can he save the two rifles? We'll see about that. TP out. Okay, but still, the production, our units are not that strong. We don't have orb effect, right? We have only two heroes, and yes, Mr. Dendi is getting ready for mass air. I would play like that versus wyverns, like from Orc, but not versus destroyers from Undead, right? We are not going to be lamed with destroyers. That's very unlikely. Of course, it can happen. Lame, I mean, that our economy will be attacked. That's how you play versus wyverns, in my opinion, not versus undead. Of course, scouting with gyros is amazing. As we can see, they have a lot of vision, and they have vision over the trees, which is a cool mechanic in Warcraft 3. For example, as we can see, the ground units, they can't see over the trees because it's like realistic. If you go to the dense forest, you don't see those things behind the trees, but if you are like in the helicopter, it's easy to spot, oh, after those trees, there's already another opening. So yes, Warcraft 3 very realistic. For example, I would scout if Undead has expansion or not. I think that Mr. Neo, and by the way, Mr. Neo lost a hero to creeps. He lost hero to creeps. Why? Because his lead is dead and they didn't fight. I'm watching this in the advanced observer overlay. So definitely Mr. Neo is giving a hand to Mr. Dendi, even though Mr. Dendi has no idea about this. But after this game is over, we'll come back to minute number 10. I will want to show you this. What happened there, because I just saw the leech dying on the bottom left panel. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, maybe level 5. Maybe level 5 can carry this. We'll see about that. Look at this big enraged jungle stalker. He's clearing the foot. His footies are so fragile versus this thunderclap ability of him. But look, you know who can clap as well is, of course, the MK. We have Cloak of Flames. This is a decent item because MK usually goes into the middle of everything. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, I don't like those gyros. I don't like those gyros. We don't have enough damage. And we need to have some kind of damage to kill the fiends. We'll see about that. But yes, I'm quite a skeptic. Okay, tier 2 expansion. That's a very late expansion. And it's very likely that Neo will go there. Because Neo knows that he needs to attack the red camps. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Banshees, which I don't really like because we are playing versus Rifle Caster. But ladies and gentlemen, you know what? MK is quite fragile without the Paladin support. Ladies and gentlemen, this MK needs to carry this. He needs to go deep into those fiends and start clapping. Mr. Neo is teleporting out. Bolt on the Dark Ranger wasn't a good idea because he can't kill it. So Mr. Neo teleported out. But I think he still is a favor. He still is a favorite to win this. Okay, making expansion with one worker, this is a big no. I mean, as we can see, Mr. Dendi has 700 lumber already, so he could easily send even 6 workers. And yes, that's why Human is so good with basically expansion play, because we have this ability to power build. We have this ability to power build our structures. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we need to make the expansion with 5 workers, not 1. It's a big mistake. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, there was some scout used. Okay. So yes, the problem again, this is a very dangerous spot to make your expansion on, because I think Mr. Neo is going there. Why? Mr. Neo crept the top left, which of course maybe Mr. Dendi haven't seen, but expanding on the red camps, it's quite tricky because Undead is near. But ladies and gentlemen, maybe this fight will go. Dendi, well for Dendi, he's almost 50 supply. He's making one, but the amount of rifles is quite small, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. We have Nova on the MK. Mr. Neo is doing the right thing. He's hero focusing. There is no Paladin. Okay, the Destroyer is melting under the gyro pressure. We need to attack Mr. Dendi. We need to attack. Okay, he's taking mana away. Clap. But remember that after this, ladies and gentlemen, there will be no more way to heal the MK. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight is very even. Silence on the Blood Mage, it's cool. We need to give all of the mana. Burrow doesn't work because we have vision from the gyros. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Neo is trading. Mr. Neo is trading nicely. We need to give the mana to the MK, but MK is teleporting out, and it means that expansion attempt is not going to work. So yes, it's pretty basic. I'm a little bit scared, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Dendi doesn't know that, because he's learning so fast. Maybe he thought that he took 5. Of course, he did cancel now, so good decision. But yes, if you want to expand on tier 2 Dendi, there's no problem, but you need to do it closer to your base because it's more secure and with 5 workers. And now supply is still not looking that bad. But it's about the unit composition. But maybe Mr. Dendi can do a miracle. He has full mana. But he needs to be careful to keep his MK alive. Personalized healer priest can help, of course, but yes, we need to creep level 5. In MK level 5 we trust, you know, this powerful club, or maybe bolt, depends what Mr. Dendi likes. It depends on the amount of fiends, right? If undead has a lot of fiends, then club is better. If the amount of fiends is quite limited, then we like to play the bolt, to maybe threaten the hero kill or something like that. Mr. New is around, and yes, we are here. Okay, the fight is here, and I would go for club, I think, with our 3 fiends and banshees. MK is going in front, but he got silenced! He got silenced immediately by Mr. Neo. Very good timing of the silence, and this full mana MK is just running back. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Neo, I saw that he has been practicing for the Fountain of Manner games. It's like a league for everybody. Mr. Neo is participating in this solo league, and he has no mercy. He has no mercy. The MK is going to die. And with MK dying, this game is more than over. Bloodmage is next, dying with full mana. Mr. Neo charging full steam ahead. Mr. Dendi, you need to expand. You need to expand at tier 1. I think that's what you need to do, because as we can see, his army evaporated. Because if you expand, you usually go for tier 3. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, the might of undead is strong, and there was no healing. There was beautiful silence, and MK died, and Bloodmage, they died with a lot of mana without using that many spells. GG to Mr. Neo. Cool that Mr. Dendi is continuing his adventures in Warcraft 3. And yes, MK is cool versus undead, but you need to expand because of this reason, because of this efficiency of undead in the late game. Ladies and gentlemen, bonus addition. As I said, we are going to check out how Mr. Neo is doing versus this big red camp. As you can see, this camp is really big, and it has enraged jungle stalker. So it's a good idea by Mr. Neo to start tanking with the Lich, because Lich has the hero armor type, and it's very tanky because of that. So Lich is in front. Death Knight has 72 mana, 75 mana is here. Death Knight needs to coil! Ladies and gentlemen, that's what can happen if you fight versus enraged jungle stalker. As we can see, this guy can attack hard. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's what happens. So sometimes you need to remember in Warcraft 3 that if you make mistakes, also your opponent can make mistakes. So it wasn't that bad, but it's sad to see the Lich die, because we need to have level 3. And yes, the chaos damage type is good versus heroes as well. And this guy had the chaos damage. Mr. Neo still won this game, remember. But yes, sometimes your opponents, they give you a hand when you are low as well. GG's, consider subbing to the YouTube. Bye.